Welcome to the Mitcham History Notes YouTube channel. Today's video I read out some newspaper articles from 1977, starting with July 15th, 1977, and a story about mud. Mud, look in. This is what comes of mixing it with the local pop group. The whole crazy gang decide to turn up at your wedding. But even top 10 stars Mud couldn't steal the limelight when their tour manager, Phil Bowdry, walked the aisle on Saturday. Phil has known the group since their school days together in Mitcham, and he first met his bride, 22-year-old Wendy Murphy, on a blind date arranged by one of Mud's roadies. A lot has changed since Phil first followed the group when they played at Mitcham Rugby Club and in local church halls. Now a rising star in the world of pop management, Phil, aged 22, of Hawks Road, Mitcham, is set to guide the group to another chart success with their latest single, Just Try a Little Tenderness. Our picture after the wedding at St Raphael's Church, Kingston, shows one from the Mud album. Ray Styles, Dave Mount, Rob Davies and Les Gray get in on the act behind newlyweds Phil and Wendy Bowdry. Come fly with us. Merton children will be reaching for the sky on Sunday at the borough's first ever kite flying festival. Anyone can join in, and the kids will be able to fly their own alongside the experts. Enterprising Merton Parks Department have promised a fantastic festival of colour and excitement, with huge windsocks, a Chinese dragon and many other wonderful shapes filling the air. Demonstrations will be given by Masters of Kitology, Tom Chapman and Peter Powell, and aerobatics, bombing and parachute releases are included in the display. So all the family can join in the fun on Mitcham Common. The nearby Seven Islands Pond will be turned into a canoeing lake for the day, and a soapbox derby is also being arranged. The public are invited to bring their own kites and enter a special altitude and aerobatics competition, which could put them in a national final. The action starts with a rate of climb competition at 10 a.m, followed by a display of kites by Cochrane's of Oxford. In the afternoon there will be further competitions, followed by a presentation of prizes by the Mayor of Merton, Alderman Peter Kenyon. Principal raps over school for perks. The principal of Merton Technical College has been the subject of a top-level inquiry into the free servicing of staff cars by students in college time and using the college's extensive facilities, the use of students to repair and restore a rare motorcycle he'd bought privately, which he later sold at a profit, the renovation of his own valuable wartime Jeep, again by the students and again on the college premises. That was also resold at a personal profit. The use of college facilities and staff to carry out design modifications on vehicles for a commercial concern, free of charge. Mr. Tranter told the inquiry that everything had been done openly, and in every instance he believed the work had been of educational value to the students. As a result of detailed investigations by a specially appointed committee, the £10,000 plus a year principal, Mr. Anthony Tranter, has been banned from using college students to service staff's personal transport, rapped for using students to renovate vehicles he'd bought privately and then resold at a profit, ordered to introduce tighter controls and keep records on private transactions carried out at the college. In the report, compiled by Chief Executive of Merton, Mr. Alan Robinson, the committee say they were appreciative of his belief that what he had done was in the students' interest. The inquiry cleared Mr. Tranter, one of the borough's leading college principals, of a number of allegations. No further action is being taken against him, but in the committee's confidential report, which the News obtained, they said he had been unwise in making a personal profit out of vehicles which had been rebuilt and restored with college resources. And they said the servicing of the staff vehicles was a dangerous practice and capable of misinterpretation. As a result, the rebuked principal has said he is considering taking legal action and has sought the advice of his union. The work was all carried out, in some cases several years ago, at the superbly equipped £1.5 million complex in Morden Park. The college, which has more than 3,000 students and about 200 staff, reopened for the summer term on Monday. When Mr. Tranter was told we had a copy of the report, he refused to discuss the matter, and the only comment he would make was, "I thought the report was meant to be confidential." Anyway, this photograph is of the students in 1973, of which I was one, and for the course of Ordinary National Diploma in Technology Engineering. I don't think Mr. Tranter is in this photograph, but I thought I'd show it to you anyway. Some of the teachers are at each end, and the chap sitting there in the middle, I think, was the head of the engineering department. And this story on the timber blaze was about a fire at C.F. Anderson and Son timber merchants on London Road in Mitcham. This photograph from Eric Montague of the Merton Historical Society is from 1974. Also in the same edition, on the 22nd of April 1977, battle on Tiffanys ends in decision. And this is a battle between residents who have been fighting for the right to sleep and the late night merrymakers at Tiffanys Dance Hall in Wimbledon. The summary up the left says, people living near Tiffanys Ballroom in Wimbledon might be able to sleep a little more soundly from now on, but the show and the entertainment provided by Tiffanys will still go on. For the long-running battle between residents and Mecca ended with a decision by Wimbledon magistrates to ban the hall from opening after midnight from Monday to Thursday. But the teenaged merrymakers, who like to live it up at the borough's top night spot, will still be able to do so on Friday and Saturday nights. In 1967, the residents first complained about the noisy nighttime entertainment provided by Tiffanys, and since then, although no official complaints have been made, residents claim that they have suffered. While the residents claimed they were suffering, Mecca argued that Tiffanys was providing a much-needed service. Now at last it seems that a compromise has been reached with the aid of Wimbledon magistrates, which will seem to be completely unbiased as far as the residents and the entertainers are concerned. June 24th, 1977. £2 million factory blaze. Fire experts were this week investigating a £2 million factory blaze in Mitcham. The fire, one of the worst ever in the borough, swept through the Pye Records plant last Thursday. It gutted a giant store and at one stage threatened to engulf another factory in Western Road. Hundreds of workers fled to safety when the alarm was raised at 11 a.m. and miraculously no one was hurt. But 4 firemen were overcome by fumes as they tried to enter neighbouring buildings, despite wearing breathing apparatus. 20 fire engines fought the blaze, and for a while there were fears it would spread to Huntley and Sparks Engineering Limited next door. When I ran out of my office, the whole building was covered by smoke and part of the top floor was burning, said the managing director, Mr. Ken Oram. I dashed along the corridor and escaped down a stairway as flames shot up the side of the building. It was quite frightening. The Pye store, once part of the Mitcham Old Workhouse, was completely destroyed and demolition contractors David Knight Limited estimate the damage at over £2 million. Pye are still assessing the cost of the blaze, but say it could be very considerable. A large quantity of records and cardboard were destroyed, much of it old stock, said the assistant to the managing director, Mr. John White. Luckily the store was not a working area and it will not be necessary to lay anyone off. It will mean only a few men being moved to another section. A fire brigade spokesman said this week that so far there were no theories as to the cause of the fire. We were awaiting a full report from the fire protection officer, he said. The warehouse was originally built in the mid-19th century as the chapel to the old Mitcham workhouse. Although not a listed building, it recently was the target of a protection campaign organised by local conservationists. I just want to make a quick correction to that story. It wasn't the Mitcham workhouse, it was the Holborn Union workhouse in Mitcham. It was built around 1886, as shown in this sketch from the Builder magazine. Friday, December the 9th, 1977. Kids, we had a Starsky and Hutch walkie-talkie. Does anyone remember having a Starsky and Hutch walkie-talkie? Anyway, story on the left there. LEB got a shock, taken to court for a £113,000 rates bill. The London Electricity Board have been sent a court summons for £113,000 in unpaid rates, and if they don't pay up, they'll be in the dock with the council's 4,000 other rate dodgers. The LEB are responsible for over a quarter of the £400,000 owed to Merton, and we're not treating them any different to the ordinary ratepayers, said Borough Treasurer Mr. John Hutchinson. Does that mean if the bill remains unpaid, the bailiffs could be sent to seize cookers from their showrooms? Oh, I'm sure it won't come to that. There must have been an administrative slip-up or something, added Mr. Hutchinson. But it's still wrong, and the least the LEB will have to do is to pay the cost of the court summons. It's a lot of money, and we need it as soon as possible to help finance the borough's other services. Perhaps they were caught out by our change in the collection system, and their computer is still programmed to send us a cheque later this month. But whatever the reason, they, like everyone else, would have been sent a 21-day reminder, and they certainly shouldn't have ignored that. The LEB owe the £113,000 on 3 showrooms and other premises they have in Merton. The News asked the local LEB on Wednesday if they'd had anything to say about the summons. A baffled district manager, Mr. A.D. Lofty, said, "What summons? I don't know. What I didn't know we were being taken to court. What for?" When told about the LEB's rate debt of £113,000, Mr. Lofty added, "This thing wouldn't come to me, it would go to our chief accountant." I should imagine he got a bit of stick at school having the name of Lofty. New homes nightmare. Disgusted tenants say their award-winning housing estate is falling down around them and living conditions are a nightmare. Merton Council have been accused of jerry-building their housing showpiece, Northwest Quadrant, at the Fairgreen. Today that's referred to the Sadler's Close estate. But originally it was called the Northwest Quadrant. Angry tenants leaders claim nearly 90% of the quadrant's 300 families and old people are so fed up with their homes they are ready to leave, and all are sick to death of the so-called teething problems, which have plagued the £2.5 million estate since its completion 2 years ago. A list of defects and faults in the flats and maisonettes continues to grow with every week. So far, tenants say the estate suffers from cracked walls, leaking door and window frames, plastic light fittings which melt with the heat of a bulb, door hinges which bend and fall off, landings which flood during the lightest rainstorm, bathroom tiles which fall off the wall, ventilation fans constantly out of order, nails left sticking out of skirting boards, and dangerous corridor fuse boxes left unlocked and accessible to children. The council have promised the estate will be made good, but the tenants are tired of waiting for repairs to be made. "Our estate may have won an award, but it hasn't stopped things going wrong," said Tenants Association Chairman Mr. Alan Martin of Fountain House. "There are few things that haven't either fallen down or broken off, and it's all through the council using cheap materials and employing poor labour." Anyway, another story on that page, PC hurt fighting blaze. And the context for this is that there was a fireman strike, the first ever national fireman strike undertaken, which lasted 9 weeks from November 1977 to January 1978, according to this clip from the Fire Brigades Union website. Back to the story. Exploding asbestos ceiling tiles injured a policeman and drove back neighbours struggling to fight a blaze at a Mitcham council house. Garden hoses, fire extinguishers and buckets were rushed into action as flames roared through an airing cupboard. And as the blaze threatened to spread to the house next door, PC Derek Heaton was burned on the head by falling debris. Eventually the fire, at a house in Yorkshire Road, was brought under control with the help of soldiers and 2 green goddesses. Yes, during that strike the army were in use with their own firefighting equipment, dubbed green goddesses. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please press that like button. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. And make comments. Bye for now.